Welcome to another edition of Let's Talk Credit. I'm super excited. We're working with you all, getting ready and getting started to be repairing credit, building credit, doing the things that are necessary to get you to where you want to be with your credit. And so last week we talked about the 4 types of credit: no credit, good credit, bad credit, and excellent credit. But this week we're going to talk about payment history, because that affects everybody. It goes across the spectrum no matter where your credit is at. And so we want to master payment history. Like I said, is one of the most important parts of your credit report, because it deals with 35% of your credit report. And once you master credit history, you can really do anything else that you want to do with your credit. So with no further delay, let's talk credit. All right, everyone, welcome back. We're talking about credit now and credit history. We appreciate it. Go ahead and subscribe to our channel. I know that many of you are looking to subscribe, and so we want to definitely take advantage of that. That's going to allow you to know when we drop a new video or when we go live or anything of that nature, and you can stay abreast on exactly what it is that we're doing as we grow and walk through this process together. So tonight, what I'm going to share with you is something fundamental. This is a fundamental part of building your credit. And so this is payment history, and the reason being is because it deals with 35% of your credit history. So just imagine if your payment history is off, that's 35% of your history that is missing. So we're going to talk about that tonight, because if you can master your payment history, everything else can be repaired. Everything else can be fixed, but that payment history is no joke. And so tonight I'm going to talk more so about credit repair payment, credit card payment history, other than any other type of payment. But all of your payments I'm going to talk about tonight, and making sure that your payment history is correct. So if you have no credit, it's key. Remember, this is do-it-yourself credit. If you have no credit, it is key that you master this before, this information you get before, so you never mess up your credit. If you have bad credit, this is good information that you have before, so you never mess up your credit. Because most people in those instances, when I find them with no credit or bad credit, and there's 2 types of people with bad credit. There's the people that have never had credit cards with bad credit, and there's people that have had credit cards. Their score might have went up to like 700, 690, something like that. They got credit cards and they didn't make their payments and tore their credit back down to bad credit. And this right here is credit payment history. It's your payment history that's killing you, and your debt utilization. That's taking up 65% of your credit report. So 35% is payment history. 30% is debt utilization, how much credit you have versus how much credit you've used. So it's very important that you really listen to this, because if you understand payment history and you master payment history, everything else is easy to fix. So you will be in control of your credit report. You'll be in control of your credit score. You can determine how your credit score is going to look if you just master payment history. Okay. So I want to move forward now into the information. So your credit report comprises 35% of your score. And I spoke on this in episode 1. I gave the 5 components that comprises your credit score. And so therefore, if you missed that, you need to go back and watch episode 1. It's going to have a lot of good information before this video, but I want you to get that it comprises 35% of your score. This is very important, because if you deal with this 35% and your credit history, your payment history is bad, you knocked off 35%. And more than likely, if your payment history is bad, you've maxed out your credit cards, and therefore your debt utilization is bad. That's 65% of your score. That's bad, right? But watch this. Let's say you have no credit. That means you don't have any payment history. and you don't have any debt, you don't have any debt utilization, that means you have 65% of your score is automatically missing, right? So if you've never had any debt, but you have bad credit or you have no credit, let me explain something to you. Then 35%, 65% of your score is missing. You can automatically fix that. So as I told you before, get the 2 year of good credit. That puts 2 years of payment history on your credit report immediately. So you need to click on that link below and click on add 2 years of good credit. You need to click on that and go to that and sign up for that. Literally. You need to do that ASAP. That's going to give you 2 years of good payment history. Right? That will shoot your score up immediately. Okay. So you want to do that. I talked about that in the last video as well. Now, the next thing that I want you to understand with payment history is the key to it is your minimum payments, right? Making this minimum payment is the key. And most people do not understand how important this minimum payment is right here. Okay. So what do I mean by the minimum payment? The minimum payment, this on a credit card, is the minimum amount that you are going to pay. You have to pay every month in order for them not to put a late payment on your credit report. So for instance, it's usually between $25 and $40. You can afford that. So what I would do is take your bills, pay them with your credit card. Like let's say you got a car note. That car note has to be paid. You can't pay a percentage of your car note. So pay that with the credit card. So if you have the money, you're going to put it on the credit card, right? And keep a good payment history. But if you run into a hard time, all you got to do is pay that $25 or $40 and you don't have a late payment showing up on your credit report. That's extremely powerful. So if you continue to take your money, put it on the credit card, pay your bills and stuff off with the credit card, it's reporting to the credit agencies that you have perfect payment history over this time. And all you got to do is pay the minimum payment. This is extremely important. This will work. This will build your credit. And if you do that, everything else is amenable. The next thing that's 30% more is your debt to credit ratio, right? So how much credit do you have altogether and how much have you used, right? So if let's say I max out my credit card, but my payment history is good, my credit score is going to go down. But all I have to do to get it to go up next month is pay it off. So I can control my credit, right, up and down according to if I want to go get some more credit. So right now I got what I want. So I don't need to go get more credit, right? Or you might not need to get more credit. But when you do, you got, I just need to pay this off, bang. And now next month, your credit score goes up. Now I'm going to go get some more credit and do what I need to do. You're in total control of your credit report now versus if with the payment history, now you got to go fight this and do that. And if you just keep that payment history clean, everything else is easy, right? We can get off. I mean, you can get off bankruptcy, lien. You can get all that stuff off. But that payment history, especially with credit cards, is difficult. Why? Because the credit card companies know they are masters with the credit bureaus. So when you try to dispute them and all this, they're very good at making sure that they're on top of their game when it comes to getting the information and the things necessary in order to make sure that you cannot remove it from your credit report. So you want to make sure that your payment history is great. And the best way to do that is to make that minimum payment every single month. Never miss the minimum payment. I think a lot of people are like I was. They thought that you had to pay that bill off on the credit card. Like if you got a credit card and you maxed it out, you thinking like, man, I got to pay this whole thing off. I'm not paying that off. I'll just let that go and just use my cash. No, you don't. When you get your credit card, and I'm going to do a whole video on credit cards. So when you get your credit card, inside it tells you a monthly payment. It's going to be between usually about $25 to $40. If you make that payment, it's as if you paid the credit card off to the credit bureau. So therefore, they let you do it. And I got a video called 15 and 3 where I do tips and so forth on this channel If you watch that video, I will show you how to pay off your credit card where it will increase your credit score as you pay it off. So debit cards, cash, they taught us cash was king, but they don't do anything for you. This is what you want to start doing. You want to start eliminating spending money through items that are through mechanisms that do not report to your credit report. If they don't increase your credit, don't use them. And credit cards are very good at increasing your credit score, especially once you master your payment history. So that is very important there. Okay. So now the next thing that we want to look at is the late payment history. Okay. Late payment history also comprises 35% of your score. Either you got good or you got bad. So if it's bad, it's comprising 35% of your score. That's a big chunk of your score. And like I said, if you have late payment history, more than likely you have maxed out your debt to credit ratio. So what you want to do now is you want to increase your debt to credit ratio. You want to pay those off. But you also are going to dispute with these companies, and we're going to get those things off. Now, late payment history, how does it work? You have 30-day, 60-day, 90-day, 120-day, right? So there's 30-day late payment, 60-day late payment, 90-day late payment, 120-day, and then they charge them off. Charge off means that they're selling them to another company usually, right? If they do that, it's coming off because you don't owe that other company any money. So that's coming off of your credit report. Right? Collections can come off too, but they're a little harder. But the ones that where they actually sell it off, which is normal, you don't owe that company any money. And if you don't owe them any money, that's coming off, period. Right? Now, the longer that you have, or the longer the time, like in other words, 120-day is worse than 30-day. It impacts your score more than the 30-day, right? So you want to get even if you get a 30-day late, you want to make sure you pay it as fast as possible. But what do you have to pay? The minimum payment. See, this is the key to the game. That minimum payment is key. So if you make sure that it never hits this 30-day late, right? You have a clean record there. Everything else is just going to boost your credit because nothing matters as much as your payment history. And what is the perfect debt to credit ratio? Make sure every card that you have is under 30%, right? So let's say if I have a $3,000 card, I want to keep it less than $1,000 on that card at all times. Now, this is where the problem lies. This is like a bankruptcy. It might be easier to get a bankruptcy off than these sometimes. Okay. So I want you to understand how important this payment history is. These stay on your credit report for 7 years. So let's say in 2022, you had a late payment history. It's not coming off until 2029, 2021, 2028. 2020, 2027. It's going to sit on there. And again, it is very negative. So if you don't have credit cards or any type of late payments on your credit report, now once you repair it, I'm telling you, it's a time to make sure that you don't have those. Make sure that you eliminate that. Make sure you make your payments on time. That's the most important thing. And I'm harping on it on purpose because it is that important. So the next thing we're going to talk about is the dispute process and open accounts. Okay. So with the open accounts, which is very important, these are accounts that you have not closed yet. That means they're going to be usually in the 30, 90 or 120 or 60-day process. Okay. So the first step is pull your credit report. So you're going to want to pull your credit report. And the reason you want to do that is because you need to be able to see what is on your credit report. Now, if you decide to use the system I use, I love it because you pull your credit report. It's automatic. It's going to pull your credit report. It's going to create the letters, and all you have to do is send your letters out to dispute when it's that time. But you're going to pull your credit report because you need to be able to see what is on your credit report. Okay. This is extremely, extremely important as well. Step 2, before you do anything, you want to negotiate. If the account is open, this is very important. You want to negotiate with the companies that you have late credit with. So for instance, if I'm with Chase Bank, friends, let's say you're with Chase Bank and you say, okay, you might only have one late payment, two late payments, especially if you got 1, 2 late payments, something like that, but you've been with them 3 years, 4 years, something like that. You can call and say, listen, I was having a hard time. I need you all to please, remove these late payments. If it's a short 30-day late payment or something, or even 120-day late payment, it doesn't matter. If you call them, they will definitely work with you to, get that off because they want you to remain a client and you've been a stable client. If you got 10 or 20 or 30 late payments, they might not knock them off. They might. I would try anyway, but they might not. But if you got like 1 or 2 late payments, 3 late payments, and you've been with them a long time, if you call them, they will definitely remove it. But if they don't, this is the key. You're going to call back, meaning, okay, thank you very much. Click, call back and get somebody else. I would do that 4 or 5 times, 6 times, because you're going to run into somebody who might be on a higher level. They might know more. They might, whatever, they're going to change it. Now, if you call 4 or 5 or 6 times and it doesn't happen, then what you're going to ask for is auto payment. You're going to call back and say, listen, will you do it if I turn my card on with auto payments? And you can set your card to do the minimum payment as an auto payment, usually with most companies. So you want to definitely get those auto payments on there and they will remove the late payments. And now that's going to report the next month to your credit report, and your score is going to definitely jump up. Okay. Now, step 4, if those don't work, if they say no to all of that, then what you're going to do is use a late payment removal request letter. And if you use our system, it comes in there. It's a template already. All you have to do is change it to your situation. And that late payment removal request letter, that you send that in, a lot of times things will come off with that late payment removal request letter. It'll almost be like goodwill, and they'll do it. Most companies will give you 1 goodwill. So if you have 1 or 2, they will knock those off usually. Okay. So the late payment removal request letter. Now, this can happen with the open. If that doesn't work and you have an open account, or if your account is closed, you have to use the dispute process through the 3 bureaus, TransUnion, Experian, or Equifax. Okay. So you're going to have to do the letter dispute process on open or closed accounts. So this is step 5, dispute the late payment. First thing you're going to do is make sure the information is accurate. I don't care what you're doing. I don't care if you're doing bankruptcy, whatever. This is your first step, is to make sure that that they have accurate information. When they try to dispute something, they think that they're disputing the actual company. Like they think that they're disputing the fact whether they had the payment or not. Like, did you have the credit? Did you make the late payment or not? That's not what you're disputing. You're not disputing that. What you're disputing is the fact that this company has not done their due diligence to make sure that they have the up-to-date, accurate information on you. See, just like you have a responsibility with your credit to pay them, they have a responsibility in order to keep you locked in the situation where you're to pay them. There's rules that they have to follow as well. And one of those is they must maintain accurate records of you. Okay. So inside of that, many times these companies do not do that. Therefore, they're in default, and therefore these things must come off your credit report. So never think, no matter what, the reason the letters are written the way they are is because the machine that reads the letters, there's certain wording that has to be in there. But never think that you're disputing the actual fact whether you owe it or not. You're disputing the fact that they have not done the due diligence that they're supposed to do in order to make sure that you still are locked underneath the contract that you owe them. Okay. According to the Credit Fair Reporting Act. Okay. So they have to follow those guidelines. All right. And this is very important. Now, what you're going to need is a personal info update letter. So you can contact me for the personal info update letter. You can hit my Facebook and contact me through there. That's probably going to be the best. So you can click on the link below, click on Facebook and contact me through that medium there. You can contact me there, or you can go on my Instagram and contact me there as well. Okay. And that's going to be the best two ways. If not, you can email me at the number 4, the letter U, credit repair and services @gmail.com. Okay. But you can contact me. I will send you the personal info update letter if you need it. But everybody needs to do that. You need to definitely utilize that letter, get it in the bureaus, and this is going to be your information that you have now. And another reason you want that personal info update letter is because if you have multiple addresses on your account, that will also mess up, or in other words, that will make, when companies look to give you credit, they'll be like, he moves around too much. So you want this personal info update letter will put the address where you're at now, and they will remove the others. And now what's going to happen is that company should have known that you had moved to the new location. And if they don't or whatever, these things are going to come off. The next thing that you want to do is freeze your LexisNexis, SageStream, and Innovis. If you don't know how to do that, again, the system I use, we will show you how to do that. You need to freeze your LexisNexis, SageStream, and Innovis accounts, okay? Especially if you have a lot on your credit report. You need to freeze it and then wait 30 days. And then you're going to send in your letters, right? That you got from, if you wrote your own, that's up to you. Or you can utilize the templates that come. If you use the system we use, you will automatically, and that's why I like it, because you're going to automatically pull your credit report. You're going to automatically get your letters. You're going to automatically have the instructions to follow. You're going to send them in, and then most of that is going to fall off. Even the other things that you have on your credit report, it'll put everything on there that you want to dispute. Okay. And so that is extremely powerful. All right. And so these are the steps. These are the things that are necessary to do in order for you to move to the next level. All right, everyone. So I appreciate you all for showing up tonight. We're going to be running a challenge coming soon. I want you to subscribe because we're going to run this challenge for 2022. I'm going to be giving away prizes and all of those type things, but this challenge is going to be extremely powerful, and it's about repairing your credit, because I challenge each and every one of you to repair your credit. I challenge each and every one of you to have an outstanding 2022. I challenge each and every one of you to be able to take a resolution and make it happen this year. And one of those resolutions, if your credit is not repaired, if it's not fixed, I'm telling you, you can change your entire lifestyle the same way I did, just by repairing your credit. So subscribe to the channel. First of all, we want to subscribe. And then the next thing that we definitely want to do, you want to help, if you want to help others, or you want to share this and get paid for just sharing it, click on the button, get paid, follow that, join, and let's work together and make it happen. If you have any questions, I've already showed you how to reach me. Click below, click on Facebook, contact me there. Or if you have any questions or any comments, you can put them in the comments below, and I'll be answering those questions. As a matter of fact, if you put something in there, there's a possibility I might even just do a show just on what you're talking about. So in the comments, or if you're on the Instagram or Facebook, you can hit my profile. All my links are there. You can click on that link, and then it'll take you to the same link on Linktree. So I appreciate everybody's time. Look forward to seeing you all this year, absolutely at the top, and I'm definitely on my way. So look forward to seeing you all there. Have a great year and Until next week, peace.
What is the worst move you can make? Black on black crime is not intelligent. Black on black crime is not intelligent. Black on black crime is not intelligent.